Hey, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? You guys haven't seen me in a little while, have you? Today, we're going to jump right on into it. We have been talking about finding your niche and the importance of finding your niche. And so we're going to be talking about how to do that and the importance of finding your own niche when starting your business or revamping a business that has been stagnant for a while. We all run into it, right? Life happens. So I often get asked how you hold on to a niche when you feel like, or how you hone into a niche when you feel like it's all been done before. It's all been done before, right? There's nothing new underneath the bridge. So how do you overcome that nagging fear that there might not be enough people out there for you to build a profitable business? There's a way. There is certainly a way. I hope all you handmade business owners and those who want to have their own handmade business open up a shop and get above the noise. Because if you don't know how to do that, I'm the person that will help you get there. I help people get above the noise and stand out and be memorable. So the moment you figure out a product and you niche down, you find out that that's what you're unique at, and you realize what you're bringing to the table and how much value you bring to a table because you're solving problems, that's the moment you have a profitable idea that will become a profitable business. It's true. It's certainly true. So today, I want to share with you the strategy that I use, that I have used, that's going to help you find out what your product is and what product niche that is. So the worst thing you can do when you're thinking about what your product should be or what your niche area should be, sit down and focus on how scared you are, right? It brings a little bit of a fear. You're shying away from the idea altogether. You're procrastinating because what ends up happening is the business doesn't get off the ground floor when you're doing all that. So stop shying away. Take a chance. Get away from the distraction. Shut everything down. Sit in a quiet place, because what I'm going to do is going to help you propel forward. Grab a pen and paper. Grab a pen or a pencil and some paper. Make the decision right now that you're going to focus on you. Right now. You're worth it. Totally worth it. This is not the time to decide to quit your day job. That's not what we're doing today. There's a lot of work that's ahead of you, but it's going to be fun, I promise. Just decide that this is something that you want for you, that you want to take the time to figure out, and you're going to put the energy into it, okay? Don't worry if there's this huge homework assignment coming your way that's going to take months to accomplish. That's not what we're doing here. Today is about the quick win. So this quick win is going to take you about 30 minutes, but it could take as long as an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending on how much experience you have thus far. And even that last statement that I just made is going to make more sense when we jump right on through the process, jump into the process, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is turn that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper or notebook that I just asked you to go get and turn it from this way to this way. Make it landscape. Okay? Now I'm going to give you 7 categories. For those of you who know me, 7 is one of my favorite numbers and has done super well for me. I like to put my 7 out in the universe. So we're going to stick with that number 7 in order to make things happen. Here are your 7 categories. Job. Category number 1, skills. Category number 2, creative products. Category number 3, 4, passion. 5, resources. 6, profitability. And 7, scores. So your 7 categories should have 7 columns. So go ahead and put in those vertical lines to separate each category. Write a line under your titles. Those were the categories that I gave you. And stop. In the job column, you're going to write down all of your professional and volunteer jobs. These examples might feel broad at first, and may take you from a very easy task to things that you grew through as time went on. So for example, you might be a PTA member. That might be your volunteer job at your kids' or grandkids' school, or may have been one in the past. You might have put in 10, 20, 30 years in a career. So I want you to write all those things down. What were all those jobs? What were all those volunteer things that you put time into? You're just going to put all of those things underneath the job category. Don't leave anything out. Take the time to think about all the things that you've done for free for someone or someplace. So all of this information is going to count towards something in the end, okay? So in the second skills column, include all the skills it took you to do each job or each volunteer position. For example, if you like to cook, your skills are pricing, right? You have to price all the products and tools and preparation that's needed. You have to price what you expect to be your hourly wage or pay for the time that it takes to put into that process. So your skills are pricing, prepping, measuring, planning. Pricing, prepping, measuring, planning. Okay? So let's go to the third column. Write down all the products that you've made in the past for fun. Made to help out for an event or something that you did in your pastime to create for your home. This could even include gifts for the family or friends or something you built. A personal product for the home, a self-care item. Don't leave anything out. If you built a bed for your child, if you built a cabinet, whatever, okay? If you did some sewing work, take a few moments to compare the job column to the creative products column now. Take a look at those two columns. Let me know if there's any similarities that you're starting to see. And if so, go on in and circle those similarities, okay? Because now, based on the items you circled, we're going to run on over to the passion column. Write how passionate you are about creating that item or items or products. Because now you're going to use a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being very passionate and 1 being least passionate about creating that item. Okay? Remember, this is a process. Now, in the resources column, scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, on how easy it would be to find or get the resources needed for each of those jobs or products. Next paragraph, in the column titled Profitability, think about what problem that product solves and what it might be worth to someone on a scale from 1 to 10. If you're wondering if these items have the ability to sell, just do a search on Etsy, do a search on Amazon or Google. Use all three. If it comes up on the first page, then next thing you want to do is check out how many items or products were sold if possible. This is easier to do on the Etsy platform for handmade. Check out the company or person who has the most sales for that item, and then you know how much it's the profitability, right? You know how that it has a profitability score attached to it and how often people are looking for that item. So you're going to start seeing a pattern with that process. So now I want you to add up the scores for each initial product and tell me if you're starting to see a pattern or a common product theme. So don't worry if you're trying to do this while the video is playing. You can always pause, stop, go back to this. Okay, this exercise, again, should take you 30 minutes to an hour. If it takes a little bit more time, that's okay. Don't chastise yourself. We're going through a process. This is for fun. The object is to take your time and give it some real thought. And let me know if you're having some aha moments in there. Are you having some aha moments? I would love seeing what your aha moment is. Comment below. Let me know what's going on. So this process I'm taking you through, it's a type of brain dump. It's a way of teaching your brain to check out the similarities and the things that you do every day that you have been doing through the years, and finding out what products you can come up with that have the ability to be profitable. It also works for services, okay? So this is just the first step. It's just the first step in finding and starting a business that may have started out as a hobby up to this point, but is going to turn into a business. I always tell everyone, if you treat your business like a hobby, it's going to perform like one. I'm here to walk you through the process so that doesn't happen. The idea here is to be able to build a business behind something you already love doing, already have the tools to do, already have the experience, and years to do, so that you can pick something that not only makes money, but that you will be happy doing moving forward. Excuse me. So I'm going to give you an example of something that I had the tools to do, something that my family, friends, community members would ask me to do, that turned into a profitable business. I was always asked to help with cooking during events. Now, whether those events were regular holidays where the family got together, or community events where I was cooking for a large PTA event or something like that, people would ask me to cook all the time. And I had family and friends that were vegans, that were vegetarians, and some that were just straight up meat eaters. So it was important for me to be able to plan out a meal plan that was separate while married the flavors, so no one felt that they were being left out, right? So keeping themes consistent, food themes consistent, took a lot of patience, research, budget, and planning. So years later, when I had family members who were dealing with cancer, that includes a lot of things: allergic reactions, sensitivities, foods that could potentially cause nausea. All that took a lot of planning and research to be able to build a menu or a food plan that was easily digestible, provided the correct amount of nutrients and protein, while instituting flavors that provided a calmness and comfort during a super difficult time, which is an understatement, right? So these tools, this experience, the planning, the budgeting that went into the process would later help me become a self-ordained vegan chef and build a business where I could present a bid on a job to fulfill meals 5 days a week for vegans in a startup company. You see where I'm going with this? You might have one of these in your back pocket, okay? Now, while we're talking about products, and we'll focus more on that later, while you're making your list, understand that what you're doing today is believing that you want to start a business and taking the first steps to get there so that you can be profitable. It's not going to start overnight. This is a process. It's something that you've been thinking over for quite some time. I'm asking you to make a decision today and to devote some time in yourself. It's free to devote time. Successful people don't become successful overnight. There's a backstory. Their business didn't become profitable right off the bat. You have a backstory that's going to be the beginning of something great. So, even I had several part-time businesses over the years that were profitable. I also had a lot of part-time entrepreneurial gigs, businesses, things that I did that were not so profitable. The ones that were not profitable were the ones where I didn't do the brain dump. I didn't do the niche exercise. I didn't know that I needed to do that. I didn't have enough tools in my arsenal. I didn't have enough experience in my arsenal. I didn't have enough education to make it all work. And when I finally realized what I was doing, and when I woke up and I did that exercise, what I'm trying to get you to see is that you have been on many experiences, trips, journeys. You've gathered many tools and resources along the way up to this point. So you already have the tools you need to hone in on your niche and continue your journey. So by now, you're probably getting a lot of ideas, right? So it brings me to the tally. Remember those numbers we were talking about? That scale from 1 to 10, tally up the current scores and see if there are some similarities on what you like to do. The numbers that are closer to 10 are the ones that you like to do versus what you've been doing. And you'll begin to see something, because your numbers will not lie to you. They'll be higher in some categories than in others. Do you see the pattern? If you're starting to see a pattern, say yes in the comments and let me know what they are. Because now you're getting closer to finding your product that's going to be the launch of your business. Take a few moments to see if it's becoming clear to you. So before, there's always a before you can go all in on the product idea, you need to validate your product's profit potential. So I'm going to be talking about pricing for profit, and we'll be starting the process through a challenge that is happening later this month. The date is coming up really soon. It's going to be in a separate posting, so look out for it. If you liked this exercise, if you found this exercise helpful, please share it. Please invite someone to this group so that when they get to pricing for profits, they are here. They have gone through the process that it takes to make sure they have an idea for a product, and they'll be ready to get the step-by-step formula to make sure that they are profitable. This doesn't just work for people who are just starting out. You might already have a business and realize that it's not making sales, or a lot of the prices, like in Etsy, raising their prices, are no longer profitable. So they and you need to be in this group too. It works for everybody. I'm going to share it soon. Keep your eyes peeled. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.